There were always issues with getting the dishes done, and with the food tent in general. The food tent, well, really wasn't that much of a tent. We made it work, but with winter coming on, well, we had serious issues to deal with. And so it was that while in the midst of a GA during a rainstorm where all things were falling apart and we were having contentious discussions, a bunch of us snuck into the back, secreted a giant winterized army tent into the camp, around the gravel walks, and then spent the rest of the evening ripping and tearing down the old food tent, moving things and getting ready to erect the new tent so that the following morning when the police arrived, the winterized tent was just there. The fire department chief came in, inspected everything. He was very upset and gave us lists and lists of things to correct, lots of dishwashing. It was, I'm amused to say, while I was dishwashing that I met Andy. Andy had the solution to all of our dishwashing woes. He had built a super sink that he was going to bring in that evening. So Ben, our attorney, was explaining details about the injunction that evening.
The emphasis was, first off, this is protected speech. It's uncontroverted. In their papers, for all their 200 pages, the city of Boston does not say anything that contradicts the fact that people get Occupy Boston's message.
Ben continued on for a while. Then Andy arrived by the side of the J with his sink. He took it out of the truck, attempted to bring it in, was stopped by an officer of law, and... They would not allow us to take it in, and when 30 more police showed up, they took it out.
Hey! Let it out! Let it out! What is wrong?
Despite our pleas and our obvious, enormous disapprobation, the police nonetheless loaded the sink into their paddy wagon and took off down the street. Now, if this had been a normal occupation, the story would be over. But oh no, this is Occupy Boston, and we have DA. Several members of which ran down the street, threw themselves onto the sidewalk in front of the police paddy wagon as it was trying to get away, and...
You can't control people's actions. Let it be. However, you're not part of his actions now absorbing most of the GN.
So, with 20 or 30 people standing in front of the truck and 60 or 80 standing on the sidewalk, urging them to come back to our side, that it wasn't worth getting arrested over the silly sink, they slowly came back over, and eventually we let the sink go away in peace. About a week later, Andy called me up. I rented a pickup truck, some Zipcar, and he and I and a couple other folks went down to A1 to pick up our sink. We spoke to a rather surly desk sergeant who was not amused that we were there to bail out our sink. We picked her up in solitary confinement without even a toaster oven to keep her company, put her into our prisoner transport vehicle, and took her home. Somewhere along the way, someone, I don't remember who, came up with the name Sinkerella.